everybody, Trevor here, and welcome to another Top 10 video. And for today's Top 10, we'll be discussing my top 10 Thomas characters I like to see in the classic Tomy Trackmaster Plarail format. I've been wanting to do this for a while now, but recently, we got some All Engines Go merchandise released by Tomy, and I really do hope this range will coexist alongside it, just like with Wooden Railway 2022. Also, in case you don't know about me, the classic Tomy Trackmaster system is my third most favorite Thomas brand of all time. I was first introduced to this from a scene from 10 Years of Thomas and Friends where they showcased some of the Tomika World stuff. And at the time of making this video, we don't know what new items we'll be getting for Plarail this year, aside from the Go stuff. But I'm making this video anyway, just in case if Tomy decides to listen to us fans, which I doubt. Now for this list, I'm only going to include those that appeared in the official canon, which is seasons 1 to 24. So that means no All Engines Go characters like Kana. In addition, this video is for characters that have the possibility to be motorized, because I feel like it. And besides, I kinda like motorized engines more than freewheeling ones in the Tomy range because they're fun to watch despite how noisy they are. And if your favorite Thomas character isn't on this list, then you have my deepest sympathy. Now without further ado, let's get this new top 10 chugging. Number 10 is Philip. I know I'm gonna get some hate for this, but I actually kinda like Philip as a character because not only he's an American diesel shunter, but also cute and funny. Though I do wish his voice were UK exclusive rather than for both dubs of the show. Now, Philip was originally released for Plarail as a non-motorized engine, but for some reason wasn't made into a motorized counterpart, so that's why he's number 10. Number 9 is Raul. I've honestly been wanting Raul to be released by Tomy as a motorized engine for a while now. If Mattel can make a Trackmaster version of him, why can't Tomy do the same thing as well? And to be frank, I like Raul as a character because he's cool. And I thought his new voice suited him better than Rob Rackstraw's in The Great Race. No offense. And furthermore, if they are going to release Raul in motorized Plarail form, then he should come with a Batucada coach and a regular truck with cargo, but that's just an idea. Number 8. Shane. Like Raul, I've also been wanting Tomy to make a motorized Plarail counterpart of Shane. If Mattel could make a motorized version of him, so can Japan. In my opinion, Shane is also a cool character, and it makes perfect sense why they cast Shane Jacobson as the character since they both share the same name. Oh, and if they are ever going to release him for Plarail, then I think they should have him come with either Aubrey or Aiden as his rolling stock, just like they did with Gordon and Spencer. Number 7. Bo. Not only do I want this character to be released as a wooden railway model, but also in motorized Plarail form. The reason he's number 7 is because he only appeared in Big World Big Adventures the movie, which was one of the worst Thomas movies due to its rushed pacing and too many characters, which I should have pointed out in my every Thomas movie and special reviewed video a long time ago. And it's also wasted potential. However, I do like a few of the new characters like Bo because the 440 American Standard locomotive is one of my favorite engines along with the Big Boy, Challenger, and the Daylight. Not to mention that Carrie Shale did an excellent job voicing the character. And if they do decide to release Bo in Plarail form, then he should come with either a mine trolley or one of those coffee trucks that came derailed in that one scene. Number 6 is Ataya 3, between Mike, Bert, and Rex. I know they're already released by Tomy as part of the Capsule Plarail range, but I honestly wouldn't mind one of them to be released as a motorized Plarail engine. I mean, if Mattel made a motorized model of Mike, then maybe Japan could do the same. Also, it doesn't have to be all 3 of them. You could just do one of them, and have him come with either an open carriage or a ballast wagon. Is that too much to ask? Number 5. Duchess of Loughborough. This is a new character that made her first and only appearance in Thomas and the Royal Engine, and her job was to take the royal train, which carries the late Queen Elizabeth II and her son Prince Charles. Remember last year when we got a motorized Kenji for Plarail? Well, I was also hoping we'd get to see a motorized Duchess too, because she's also one of the last new characters to appear in the official canon. And if this does happen this year, then hopefully she won't have the same exact fate as Merlin's Plarail model, which can only be motorized if you have an extra Hurricane or James to switch the non-motorized chassis. Oh, and I do remember the time I mispronounced Loughborough in one of my older videos, and I've got to say, thank you guys for correcting me in the comments section a long time ago. Mispronouncing names is one of my biggest pet peeves. Anyway, those are all the reasons why Duchess deserves the number 5 spot, and she'll probably be released with either Spencer's coach or a generic Maroon Express coach that came with the Japanese talking Gordon. Number 4 is the Flying Scotsman. In case you're new to the Thomas fandom, Flying Scotsman is Gordon's brother, and the only surviving member of the A3s in real life. I want to include him on this list because not only does he already have a Trackmaster Revolution counterpart, but he is one of the coolest Thomas characters based on a real-life locomotive with the same name, and I'm thankful that he returned in the Great Race. And if Tomy decides to release the Flying Scotsman as a motorized engine with 2 tenders, then he should not only have 1, but 2 different speeds, just like with Kenji and the streamlined versions of Thomas and Gordon. Now that would be awesome, and those are the reasons why he deserves the number 4 spot. Number 3, the Spiteful Brake Van. This model is long overdue. Plarail and even Trackmaster made British brake fans than just those generic square ones that are used more commonly. Why couldn't they just make a recolor of one of the British Rail 20-ton brake fans into the NW brake fan? I mean, it's not that hard! Heck, I could even customize one for myself in just a few minutes if I wanted to. Even though I don't customize stuff anymore, but you get my point. And in my opinion, the Spiteful Brave Man is such an underrated Thomas villain. Even though I'm glad he got a little bit of merchandise, particularly in Erdl, Wooden Railway, and Bachmann forms, but it would have been really nice if Hidden Entertainment or even Tomy would make a classic Trackmaster model of him, and that's why he deserves the number 3 spot. Number 2, Smudger. In Season 4 of the TV series, Smudger was a cocky narrow-gauge engine who rode roughly and often comes off the rails. He shares the same basis as Rheneas and replaces the role of Stanley from the Railway series. The biggest reason he's number 2 is because, like the Spiteful Brake Van, this model is long overdue. I mean, Hit Toys or even Fisher-Price could at least reskin Rheneas' Trackmaster model into Smudger. You know, like how they made Bertram and Duke the same model but with different faces? So why couldn't they do the same thing with Smudger but with Bertram's face and repaint it dark green? That way, we fans won't have to customize him ourselves. Man, I miss Smudger. If only he were to return in full CGI along with Duke, Fearless Freddy, etc. Now, before I get to my number 1 pick, I just want to give a bunch of honorable mentions. Fergus. I was going to include him on this list, but because he only appeared in Season 7 that his model would be too small for a battery compartment, he got omitted. Though you could couple him up to a motorized car like they did with Harvey. Sonny. Same reasons as with Fergus. City of Churro. He doesn't even have a face, but still, it would have been nice for Tomy to make a toy out of him. Samson. He got beat out by Philip because I find Philip to be more interesting of the Trackmaster exclusives because Samson is a doofus and is like the Don Quixote of the franchise. But still, his voice and design are entertaining. Gustavo. He got beat out by Raul because I find Raul to be the more interesting of the Brazilian group. The other rolling stock characters in Big World Big Adventures such as An and Yin Long. I do think it's possible for them to be released by Tomy, but I've omitted them from this list because I find the Spiteful Brave Fan to be the most interesting of the bunch. The other Great Race characters like Vinny, Frida, and Etienne. If I put them all on this list, then we'd be here all day. And the number 1 Thomas character I think deserves a Plarail counterpart is Daisy. Come on, Japan! Why can't we get a motorized Plarail version of this lovely character? I mean, you've made Boko and Diesel 10, so why not make a Daisy model too? Also, Daisy returned in the Andrew Brenner era as part of the Harwick branch line where she works alongside Ryan. and I thought Tracy Ann Oberman did a perfect job for the character. My point is, I don't want Diesel 10 and Boko to be the only big diesels in the Tomy Trackmaster range. I also would have liked to see Daisy as well, because not only is she beautiful, but a very interesting character in both the Railway series and TV series. And if that does happen, then we Thomas fans won't have to make another custom model of her. And those are all the reasons why Daisy deserves the #1 spot as the most anticipated Tomy model to be made. Now let me know in the comment section below on which Thomas character you would like to see be made into the classic Tomy Trackmaster format. Do you agree with my list, or do you have your own personal preference? And here's hoping that they will still make more CGI engines in Japan, because I don't want them to be replaced by the All Engines Go line entirely. This is Trevor Davis, signing off.